Crying in movies, it's a popular indoor sport this season, so let me tell you about a movie that has me in tears every time I see it. Your weepage may vary. The topic this summer is movies about movies, and today's my all-time favorite in the category. One of my favorite movies, period. Outside the U.S., that's one of my favorite movies, full stop. Day for Night, directed by François Truffaut. Truffaut is probably most widely known for playing the French scientist, Claude Lacombe, in Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind. But he first came to fame in France and among movie buffs everywhere as a critic, screenwriter, author, and director. He was one of the architects and leading participants of the French New Wave in the 50s and 60s. The New Wave represented a radical break from the well-made studio film, shot in the streets, on locations, with handheld cameras, telling stories with a raw documentary look. Edits were often abrupt and jumpy. Performances energized by spontaneity and improvisation. Sounds a little like YouTube. Irony alert, some of the best YouTube filmmakers today are doing their best to look like studio films, but some of the best filmmakers in France 50 years ago tried their best not to. Watch them today, the New Wave films don't seem all that radical. Their techniques were absorbed into the mainstream, into music videos, into advertising. Kids grow up doing it now. Show a kid Godard's Breathless today and she'll say, so what's the big deal here? That's just the way movies look. Well, yeah, now. But even with all their rebellion, the New Wave directors grew up on Hollywood movies and they loved them and often layered their own films with references and homages. In Day for Night, Truffaut goes that even further. He writes a gushing love letter to a style of movie making that early in his career he viewed as a relic. Truffaut works both sides of the lens here. He directs the film and he plays the director of the film within the film, a melodrama called Meet Pamela. In one scene, he's on the phone with his composer auditioning a love theme for Meet Pamela. As the love theme plays over the speakerphone, we see the director unwrap a package and out tumble a collection of books about great directors. That's the scene that gets me going. Close-ups of book covers played over a love theme. I start to cry right there. It signals that the real love interest in this movie is movies. YouTube note, did Truffaut invent the unboxing video in 1973? The title, Day for Night, comes from a budget-saving trick for shooting night scenes. Shoot them in daylight, but shift the color balance and exposure to make it look like night. And the film is not simply named for a movie trick. It's virtually a catalog of movie tricks. Sets that don't extend beyond what the camera will see. Fake snow on a summer day. Candles that conceal tiny electric bulbs. Sprinklers that deliver rain on demand. And the biggest, toughest film trick of all, acting. People simulating a fictional emotional life that is often at odds with their actual personal struggles and insecurities. Truffaut explores that trick as well. Truffaut carried the seed of the film in his head for years before making it. In a book-length interview with Alfred Hitchcock in the mid-60s, Truffaut says at one point, "It's often occurred to me that one might make a first-rate comedy on the making of a movie." Hitchcock lights up and chimes in with some brain crack, riffing on how it might be done. Says Hitch, "The drama would not be in front of the camera but off the set, between takes. You'd get a wonderful counterpoint between the banal story being filmed and the real drama that takes place off stage." This turns out to be Truffaut's most popular film. It won the Bafta for Best Film, the Oscar for Best Foreign Language Film. Truffaut also got a BAFTA for Best Director and an Oscar nomination in that category. Truffaut says he tried to have 10 characters of equal importance. The prop man and the script girl count for as much as the stars. Now, to make that work, he very cleverly cast established movie stars to play his stars and relative unknowns to play the crew. Some of those unknowns went on to become stars. First time I saw Day for Night, I was shocked at how mild and gentle Truffaut's character was. My impression of what a director does was formed by photos of Cecil B. DeMille and Erich von Stroheim in riding boots and jodhpurs, barking orders through a megaphone. I thought, well, gee, this guy's not much of a director, is he? It's chaos around him. But with every viewing, I gain more and more respect for his style, for the way he delegates, the way he supports a team of fragile egos and pulls the best work from them. As a director, Truffaut's character never loses concentration on even the smallest detail, from the tilt of an actor's head to the position of her hands and fingers on a railing. One of the characters, played by Jean-Pierre Léaud, is continually distracted and frequently frustrated in his pursuit of romance, or maybe just sex. He asks everyone he meets whether women are magic. Day for Night doesn't answer that question for him, but magic or not, the women in this cast are formidable. Formidable. Both the stars who play stars and the newcomers who play crew members. Pay special attention to the contribution of Joelle, the script girl. At any crisis, she just quietly steps up and does whatever is necessary to protect the production. Truffaut gave the part of Joelle to an unknown, Nathalie Baye, fresh out of drama school. It was her breakthrough. She went on to a major career in France, appearing in more than 70 films. And like Truffaut himself, she once appeared in a Spielberg film. She's in Catch Me If You Can. Italian star Valentine Cortèze is a luminous and hilarious standout, heartbreaking too, dealing with the issues of an aging film star. Jacqueline Bisset, so fragile and vulnerable as the young star returning to work after a breakdown and failed marriage, and so beautiful. Whether women are magic remains an open question in the movie, but Day for Night leaves no doubt that films are magic. If you love movies, if you make movies, if you wish you made movies, don't miss Day for Night. And please watch it in French with subtitles. The English dubbed version is painful. Painful. Until next time, I'm Mickeleh. DVD extras. So let me tell you about the crying. A big piece of the film magic in Day for Night is the music. Georges Delerue composed a very Baroque-sounding musical cue for the film. It's in the form of a chorale prelude. It sounds old, but it's newly composed. Truffaut plays it a few times in the film, usually during montages of behind-the-scenes vignettes. Last week I saw The Fault in Our Stars, and don't tell John, but I came away dry-eyed. Well, a little moist just at the very end. But in Day for Night, when this music cue plays, I just start to blubber. And I'm not sure why. Here's what happens. The music builds with energy and grace in the strings while we watch a montage of scenes being prepped and filmed. And then at one point, high Baroque trumpets sing out a new stately, triumphant counter-melody over the top. Truffaut uses that trumpet theme to mark the entrance of his hero, the camera. A series of extreme close-ups, the lens, the film path, and a 35mm Panavision camera, and I lose it every time. I can't explain why. Trumpets, Baroque music, close-ups of a movie camera, and I'm crying in the dark. I don't know why, except that film is magic, or I'm an idiot, or both. One thing about Day for Night, it's one of the earliest films to feature a gay couple in a completely matter-of-fact way. They're not exploited in any of the usual ways Hollywood traditionally used gays. They're not there for an easy laugh, or to suffer in guilt and shame, or to waste away with a horrid disease, or to be bullied, or to work out the courage to come out, or to pepper the dialogue with funny camp one-liners. None of that. Just two guys in love, devoted to each other, part of the company, part of Truffaut's world, part of Truffaut's magic. I am so grateful to live in a world graced by his movies. Did you miss the first one in this series? Here it is. If you'd like to hear Georges Delerue's chorale, it's here. That trumpet theme comes in at about 1 minute 11 seconds. Listen for it. I haven't said this to you in a while, but I feel like saying it today. If you like this, click like, comment, subscribe. Bye now.